Welcome back to It's Only Embarrassing If You're Embarrassed Podcast, a place where we normalize all things mental health, divorce, grief, addiction, substance abuse, challenges, navigating your 20s and 30s, and a little bit of everything in between. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode today. This episode, we are going to be talking about something that's been on my mind for a while because it's something that I have been struggling with for a while. And that topic is forgiveness. Believe it or not, I am not a super forgiving girly pop. I'm trying to be, but it's not something that comes naturally to me, but it's something that I've realized brings me a lot of peace and something that I definitely need to feel just happy, loved, and secure in life. So I've had to forgive a lot of people over the last couple years. It was, to be blunt, painful and annoying, but it was something that I knew that I needed to do for myself, for my mental health, and to put myself really just in a good spot in life. I personally think that everybody has somebody in their life they need to forgive, that they're frustrated with, they're hanging on to anger or resentment towards. And I think a lot of times being able to forgive is the piece that allows you to have freedom and allows you to heal, feel, and move into the next chapter. So I want to share a story with you guys that happened to me a couple weeks ago that was just something that was a real keen awareness for me that everybody is carrying around some sort of baggage or pain or unforgiveness in their soul towards somebody that they would probably love to love. So I do human resources, and so within that I deal with just a lot of people within the business, and so sometimes I find myself in just interesting conversations. And so I was having a conversation with somebody who shared with me that he had a lot of unforgiveness, resentment, and pain towards one of his parents. And as he was just unpacking this story with me, I don't know if you've ever been talking to somebody and you can tell that they're like visibly like upset by the amount of pain that they're telling you about. But it was one of those conversations, and I felt so sad because the amount of pain that this person was carrying around towards one of their parents, when I'm sure this person would love to just have a good relationship with this person instead, was just so kind of sad to watch. And it was really a good reminder for me that like you always have to forgive everybody no matter who they are. You cannot hold on to pain that you have or anger that you have towards others, because all that holding on to pain and anger and resentment does is hurt yourself, and it doesn't have any impact on the other person. Believe it or not, it only hurts you. So I think one way that you can get yourself into a place of needing to forgive people is by having or setting unrealistic expectations or expectations of people that they don't know that you have. And so this is something that my therapist is always very cognizant to remind me of, is when I'll be telling her about something, she will always make a point to just kind of talk about like not creating any expectations around certain situations that might put me in a spot where I'm going to be disappointed or let down, and to instead just acknowledge events as they are and not expect them to be something more than they need to be, or expect things of people that they have no idea that I'm expecting of them, and then being upset with them when they don't deliver on things that they didn't know I was expecting of them. And so I think that I personally have had to do a lot of forgiveness around that, a lot of forgiveness around things that people didn't know I was angry about. And that's also something that I definitely think comes along with forgiveness, is also just being open, honest, vulnerable, and having those conversations when you need to, they just talk about the things that trigger you or the things you struggle with or whatever that looks like. I want to talk about next why you should forgive. So forgiveness gives you peace. Forgiveness frees your mind. There is nothing like the amount of energy it takes up in your mind to be angry at somebody or to hate somebody or to have resentment or pain or frustration towards somebody. Like that is so much just pain to carry around in your own mind when you literally don't even need to. You can literally just bebop through life, not be angry, not hold any unforgiveness in your heart, not be resentful or revengeful towards people. You can literally just let things go, accept situations as they are, not as how you want them to be, and just move on to the next chapter of life. Obviously, it doesn't happen that easy or quickly, and it certainly hasn't for me, but it's something that I've learned that I have to do for any anger that I'm holding on to in my life. Forgiveness also allows you to move on to better chapters. You can't learn, you can't even enjoy the positivity or the good things in life if you're still holding on to anger or resentment from your past or from other people or from whatever that looks like. Like, if you can't let that go, you'll always be angry and you'll never be able to enjoy the new chapters, the new life, whatever that looks like. So that's another huge reason that I think you should forgive as well. All right, the next thing that I wrote down is who you should forgive. And so this list is not all inclusive. I'm sure there's a lot of other people on here that you guys and myself should forgive. But I wrote down parents, yourself, siblings, ex-friends, ex-lovers, literally anybody who you might have anger towards. And I made my list and then I added yourself at the end, because I think a lot of times we have anger or resentment towards ourselves for decisions that we made or situations that we stayed in or situations that we created for ourselves. And within that, we're kind of like angry or like ashamed of ourselves. And that's a piece of forgiveness that you have to feel and heal through too. You have to forgive yourself for the chapters that you don't want to read out loud, for the chapters that you don't want to have to tell people about, for the things that you've had to deal with that you didn't enjoy. And forgiving yourself is one of the most important things, because if you can forgive yourself, you can love yourself, and you can really just have a great life, because life is really just created in your mind. And if you learn to love yourself in your mind, then that is really the foundations for having a good life. All right, you guys know I have been wrapping up with a Pinterest quote. So the Pinterest quote that I wrote down for forgiveness it was actually a Chanel quote, and it says, "I don't care what you think about me. I don't think about you at all." And I think that is a great one for forgiveness, because I think a piece of forgiveness comes with not caring what people think about you, because you're genuinely not worried about them. You're not worried about what they're thinking about you or anything like that. Instead, you are just bebopping around in your own world, living your best life, and being completely unbothered by others. And that, I think, is really where you learn to evolve and grow as a person. So I wanted to really just kind of recap a couple of my main points in this episode of forgiveness. So forgiveness allows you to heal and feel. Being able to forgive people and be able to forgive yourself for expectations that you had of yourself, for expectations that you had of others, really allows you to move into this phase of life where you just have peace, you have contentment, you aren't as angry, you're not holding people to standards that they don't know you're holding them to, and it really allows you to just be free. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode about forgiveness. If you guys can believe this, my tripod broke right before I was about to record this. So currently my phone is stacked on like 74 books to get the best angle that I could get of a phone recording stacked on top of books. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and that is also a little encouragement for sometimes everything goes wrong and you have to come up with plan C, which is 74 books stacked on top of each other to support your cell phone to make the recording that you're going to work on today. So hope that you guys learned a little bit about forgiveness, and hope that you guys feel confident and able that you can forgive whenever you walk away from this. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, happy healing, babes.